Hi everyone, my name is Kirsty. I'm the Health and Wellbeing Manager in Kilkilly Women's Centre, and today I'm going to show you how to make fairy cakes. Fairy cakes are really simple little things to make in the house, especially if you've got kids. They're a great way to put in an hour. Depends on how long you want to spend decorating them. Usually they can be made from products that you have in the house, so that would be your self-raising flour, caster sugar, eggs, margarine or butter, and a little bit of baking powder as well. I'm going to show you how to make these, but you can also use the recipe, and if you want to double it up you can make a Victoria sponge, which is an alternate and something tasty to have around the house if you feel a little bit peckish with a cup of tea. Okay, so the great thing about this is that it doesn't require a whole lot of pots and pans and bowls and spatulas. It literally requires just one bowl and one spoon, and really then you're going to let the mixer do the job. So as you can see, I'm going to use my KitchenAid, but at home you may have a mixer, a hand mixer, anything like that will be perfectly suitable for this. So what we're going to do is, you might have different scales at home. I'm going to just use these little ones here. Just put them on and make sure that you bring them back down to 0. So then you want to put your bowl on that, and then make sure that you 0 it again, because that's really important, because we don't want the weight of the bowl then to throw everything off. So we start off and we're going to use butter and margarine. It's 125 grams of each. So I'm just going to use Asda's Best for Baking. You can get, that's 2 kg for, it's about $1.28, maybe on offer, maybe a little bit more if it's not on offer. Really good thing to keep in your fridge, especially for making items like this. You can have them rustled up in about 20 minutes to half an hour. So if you've got a bake sale or the kids come home and they say, we need to bring buns to school tomorrow, this is definitely the way forward. Just keep a couple of these key ingredients in the fridge and then you'll always have them. So we're going to put that in, and then we're going to add in our caster sugar. I'm just using this caster sugar. You can pick up caster sugar at Home Bargains, Tesco, Asda, wherever you need to go to just to get the best deal. Home Bargains is definitely the place to go to, though. I think you can get another brand for about 70p, so there's a difference between nearly half price there between some supermarkets and there. So that's just my little tip on where to get the best deal. Okay, so as you can see, I've added the caster sugar and the margarine in here. I'm going to put that on the machine and just bring it together. It'll just form a nice light mix, and then we'll add our eggs and our flour in after that. So when you finished mixing, this is what your mix is going to look like. It's just going to bring that butter and sugar together, and then we're going to add in our eggs. So I'm going to pop this back on the mixer, add in my eggs gradually, and it should be fine. If it starts to split, it's a good idea to add just a little bit of flour just to bring it back together. And then we will take it off the mixer again, and then we'll add in our flour, which we're going to sieve in. So the key is, whenever you're making fairy cakes, to not beat the life out of your mix. We want to make sure that we're just bringing it together and no more. If you find that you have your mixer on really high, what you're doing is you're actually knocking the air out. So as you knock the air out, that means that you're going to get a really stodgy cake. You're not going to get a nice fluffy fairy cake, which is exactly what we're after. So this is what your mix looks like. It's nothing spectacular at the minute, and we'll pop it back in the scales. Now, just in case, if you think that your mix doesn't look as much as, or to like the same quantity as what I've got here, basically I've just doubled it up. So now we're going to add our flour. So the flour, make sure that you can sieve it. It's a good idea to sieve it. It keeps gets plenty of air in through the flour. So I'm just going to level out my scales again. Again, just using the plain old self-raising flour. This one's Asda Smart Price. Pick it up for 45p. There is a difference in flours, but if you're just going to do some baking in the house, then this is the best option, just to keep something in your cupboard and it'll be there whenever you need it. So as I've doubled it, I'm going to be adding 250 grams in here. Nearly there. Nearly. There we go. So that's our flour, and I will sieve this in just gently. And we'll leave that out of the way. So I'm going to pop that back on the mixer, and then we'll show you what the next stage is. So I'm just going to turn this on. We're going to turn it on very lightly. We just want to bring that together. And as it's mixing, then what we'll do is we'll add in a little drop of vanilla essence and a tablespoon of milk. So add in just a tiny little bit of vanilla essence. Doesn't need to be too much. The mixture will have a good enough flavour even without this. And then we're going to add our milk. And I've doubled my mixture up, so I'll just add a little bit more. And we'll let that come together. And we'll just let it mix. It doesn't need to be beaten at this moment in time. It just needs to have a gentle mix there, just to bring it together. So if you want to make a really good investment for your home baking, these silicone cases are probably the way to go. These are not very expensive, but they do ensure that your buns rise in a nice even fashion. So they're a bit more like what you would get out of the shop, as opposed to being a wee bit up on the left or a wee bit up on the right. So we just need to pop our bun cases into each one of these. And then what we're going to do is 2/3 fill each bun case, and then we'll pop it in the oven. So right now I have the oven on and the oven is heating. It's heating about 160 degrees with a fan. So I have got a dessert spoon, not a really big spoon, and a teaspoon. It makes it a little bit easier for when we're putting the mixture in. So just make sure that you get a nice heaped teaspoonful or dessert spoonful, and pop it in your case. That should be more than enough just for that bun. You don't really need too much more in there. And what we're going to do is continue to go through this process until we fill them all. Now don't forget, I doubled the mixture because I'm going to make 24 of these. So I obviously have quite a lot left in there. But just work your way through it. I would start off with a little bit in each one, and then you can add a little bit more. Okay, so now that they're all ready, we're going to pop them in the oven. So as I said, fan oven, 160 degrees. And we're going to leave them in there for a maximum of 15 minutes. Usually about 12, you should be checking them. Whenever they start to rise up and they start to go a nice golden brown, that's when you want to bring them out. We don't want these to overbake, or they get quite tough on top, and then they're not so much like fairy cakes anymore. So while these little fairy cakes are cooking, I want to take the opportunity just to tell you a little bit about what we have going on in the centre. So a lot of the programs that we do are very much based around education, but we also have our health and well-being programs, which are there to support you, and they are always there. You don't have to sign up, you don't have to come every week, although we would love you to. You can come and use the services whenever you feel that you need it. One of the main classes that I deliver is Little Black Dress. It's been on the go for quite some time. We start off with a weekly weigh-in. It is not a slimming class, and we have never wanted it to be a slimming class. It is a class where you can come along, and we encourage you to be aware of your weight, and if you could do with losing a little bit to improve your general health, of course we will guide you in the right direction, but that is not our main aim. Our main aim is to ensure that you do what you can to live your best and your healthiest and your happiest life. So for Little Black Dress, we usually have our weigh-in, and then we'll follow that up with a little bit of a chat or a discussion. And then I may do a cookery demonstration, or we'll have a guest speaker in. So on some occasions we've had people in to tell us about what are the best clothes to wear for our size, for our figures, what are the best colours to wear. We've also had scam awareness talks, we've had the banks in. We've had a broad range of people who come in, so that we want to make sure that we're not just talking about health and physical health, but that we're also focusing on mental health and mental well-being. I just want to say thank you for your continued support. We really support it. We really appreciate it. This is a difficult time for everybody, and it's not easy trying to take a lot of programs that were once delivered on a face-to-face basis to an online basis, because we don't have that direct engagement. But it sounds like the buns are ready, so let's get them out of the oven and see how they turn out. So here we are, we got the finished buns. They're just out of the oven. They're roasting hot at the minute, so just be careful whenever you're getting them out of the bun tins. The silicone cases have done a really great job at keeping them nice and even, which is perfect for decorating. They've done exactly what they're meant to do there. And that makes it so much easier, especially if you've got little ones and you're trying to decorate them or add bits to them. It saves you having to start and level them off and cut the tops off them. So we're going to leave them there and we'll let them cool for a little while, and then we'll come back and we'll start to put the buttercream on, which will be the blue buttercream and then little clouds and our little bit of like a chewy lace, which is multicoloured, and it'll look like a little rainbow on top. Okay guys, so we're nearly there with our decorating. I've made up my buttercream, so what I'm going to do is keep a little bit of this white and then a little blue colouring to the rest of it. So this is the blue colouring I'm using. It is the Sugar Flare. It's actually a gel colour. It's so much better than the liquid ones that you get in some of the shops. Basically it has a much more vibrant colour, and they cost a couple of pounds, but they last forever. They're not like the liquid ones, because the liquid ones can sort of change the consistency of whatever you're colouring, so you're better to use the gels, and that goes for colouring fondant or anything like that. So I'm going to leave some white. With the white I'm going to put it into this piping bag, which has a round nozzle. Please excuse my blue hands. And then the rest of the sky we're going to put in this bag, which is just a disposable bag. You can, I mean, obviously at the minute it's a bit hard to get them, but you can pick up normal plastic piping bags in any of the shops. And we're just going to use one with a little texture on the end of it. So I'm going to colour this. For anyone who wants to make buttercream, I've put the recipe up alongside the post. It's always 2 to 1, so no matter how much butter you use, you just double the amount of icing sugar. But bear in mind that even the likes of a couple of 100 grams of buttercream or butter will make quite a lot of buttercream. It expands, so this was just about 1/3 of a block, and I've made that pretty much a whole bowlful, which is probably more than I need, but in a good sealed container in the fridge it'll keep for quite a time. So I'll get colouring here and then we'll get started into decorating. Okay, so we have our buttercream nicely coloured, and we have it in our piping bags ready to go. So when I was talking about the multicoloured fizzy belts, this is what I was talking about. But these are going to be our rainbows. Kids love them, so do I. So here we go. This is going to be our rainbow, and we're going to pipe around the top. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our cupcake and we're going to go right around the top. It doesn't have to be really neat. We're just working our way round in a circle. Okay. Until we completely cover the top. Then what we're going to do is take our little bit of rainbow and we're going to put it over the top and just into the buttercream gently. Just so as it tucks in, so as it's like this. It's cute, isn't it? And then we will take our white buttercream, and that's going to be our clouds. So I was going to use marshmallows, but this is so much better. And it looks so much better too. and that is how we're going to make our little rainbow cupcake. I absolutely adore these. They're just so cute and they're so easy to make and really cheap to make as well. So I'm going to do the rest of them and then let you see what they look like when they're completed. I really hope that you've enjoyed this. It's completely new to me and it's a first time, but the end result should leave you with 12 lovely little fairy cakes, all decorated like little rainbows. Something that's fun to do, easy to do, doesn't cost very much and spreads a little cheer, I think. So enjoy making them and make sure that you post lots of pictures of the end results on our Facebook pages. So that's Kilkilly Women's Centre or Lifestyle Lab at Kilkilly Women's Centre. Thank you so much for listening to me and join me again next week to learn how to make something different in the kitchen.